Welcome back to Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery from 1997, the goofy James Bond parody. Now you see this boardroom meeting speaking about Austin Powers and these members' failure of killing him. Leaving these two to live as we now move on to London, England, and we now meet Austin Powers himself, played by Mike Myers. And Austin Powers hops into this car and meets with Mrs. Kensington, played by Mimi Rogers. And now Austin gets a call from Basil Exposition, here played by Michael York, who is the parody of M, telling him that Dr. Evil has a trap set up at a swingers club here in London. So Austin Powers has made it to the electric psychedelic Pussycat Swingers Club, and he's treated like a celebrity here and sees the fun inside, and directed by Jay Roach. And Austin Powers does this.
Austin, why on earth did you hit that woman?
Right, let me show you, baby. That ain't no woman.
So yeah, Dr. Evil's guard disguises as a girl, and Mrs. Kensington punches him twice, and the guard is now killed by Dr. Evil up there, who we'll see soon. And we're up to see he's escaped using the freezing pod with his cat, Mr. Bigglesworth, as the big boy statue is now flying into the air, and had himself cryogenically frozen, and 30 years go by since we are in the year 1997. Since we were in the year 1967, before this freezing process. And now at the NORAD Center at Colorado Springs, Colorado, we now meet Commander Gilmore, played by Charles Napier. And the control guide tells him that a big boy statue has made it onto their space, or jurisdiction. So Commander Gilmore has made it to the Ministry of Defense in London, England, and he's known that Austin Powers has froze himself to ever catch up to Dr. Evil. As Basil Exposition gives a tour of the celebrity frozen vault, probably inspired by Demolition Man. And here is Austin Powers being melted back to life, so just like Sylvester Stallone from Demolition Man. And Austin Powers has shaved his chest to make it look like a as he's now being dried and being brought back to life. And pisses out at least 30 years of flooded urine from his prostate. And Austin is brought out here like Sylvester Stallone, meeting with Commander Gilmore and General Borshevsky, played by Elia Baskin of the Russian intelligence. And Commander Gilmore right away tells Austin Powers that there's a madman loose in Nevada, which is of course Dr. Evil, and will be working with a Miss Kensington. And Austin thought it was Mrs. Kensington, since we're in the 90s now, 30 years went by. So Vanessa Kensington, played by Elizabeth Hurley, Mrs. Kensington's daughter. And Austin Powers was supposed to say that to himself. And she'll help him get used to the 1990s decade and now picks up his outdated stuff.
Penis enlarger pump.
That's not mine.
One credit.
As they're about to leave, he almost forgets his pump, and next scene outside Las Vegas, and we hear Dr. Evil speaking to his people and says Mustafa created problems when he was frozen. So Mustafa here, played by Will Ferrell, thought he was perfect during Evil's freezing years, and it made the fur on Mr. Bigglesworth disappear. And kills Mustafa, and we now see Dr. Evil, also played by Mike Myers. And yes, he is a parody of Blofeld from the James Bond movies, petting a hairless cat.
So if you could just... You shot me! Okay, moving on.
And Mustafa is still alive, and he's interrupting the meeting, and has him killed using a gun. Now he introduces Frau Farbacina, played by Mindy Sterling, the Salvation Army militant founder, who's probably a German parody of Rosa Klebb. Next is Random Task, played by Joe Sun, the parody of Odd Job, and then Patty O'Brien, who's probably a parody of someone from the 90s James Bond movies. I really don't know, but he's played by Paul Dillon.
They're always after me, Lucky Charms.
Probably talking about the cereal. And we now meet number 2, played by Robert Wagner, who's like 100 years old today, and now brags about the companies that he owns in 38 states, such as steel and shipping and oil refineries. And our Dr. Evil's plan suggestions. Let's not forget he was frozen for 30 years, and brings up another idea of a laser he created in 1967, which he can use on the ozone layer to cause skin cancer, and number 2 says that's already happened. His only choice is to steal weapons and use it against hostages and ask a random of $1 million. Again, 1960s wanted ransom amount. So number 2 suggests to ask for more money since we are in the 1990s.
$100 billion.
Next scene, Austin Powers in his private jet with Vanessa Kensington, as he asks her to sign some release forms, and now she tells Austin that she went to Oxford, and that's why she works for this MI6 parody. He wants to make sure his dick still works and wants her next to him on his bed and acts goofy here, and even this Scarface-like line Elvira would say.
If you were the last man on Earth and I was the last woman on Earth, and the future of the human race depends on our having sex simply for procreation.
Now back to being goofy, and back at Dr. Evil's with Frau Farbacina, telling his semen was frozen during his cryo-freezing, and had produced a son, and here comes that son, and his name is Scott, played by Seth Green, Dr. Evil's son. Now wants a hug from his son, and Scott just gets away. And Austin and Vanessa have made it to Las Vegas and are now in the hotel as Austin Powers can't stop thinking about shagging. And she opens her suitcase with all of her items in plastic bags. So the two have made it into the casino, and now she tells that Dr. Evil has a company called VirtueCon, and their executives are probably gambling right now in this very casino, and he sees number 2. And number 2 is a parody of the villain from Thunderball for sure, Emilio Largo, I think that's his name. And number 2's eye patch can see through the cards. And both like to live dangerously, and number 2 wins as Austin now introduces himself as Richie Cunningham.
A lot of vagina. Come again.
A lot of vagina.
How droll. Now number 2 has to go to the bathroom as Austin follows him there and goes in to see a blind bathroom attendant, washes his hands, and now walks in this cowboy gambler played by Tom Arnold. And they both go into their own stall and opens up the wall with Patty O'Brien.
Hey partner, come on, you gotta relax, don't force it, gonna blow out your O-ring.
Thanks for the advice.
Jesus Christ, boy! What did you eat?
And now more Austin Powers scene change, and back at Dr. Evil's lair as he sees the warhead he needs, and calls up the United Nations secret meeting room, and calls to ask for the Kreplakistani warhead he needs from them. Dr. Evil screws up the ransom amount. And now the UN secretary here, played by Brian George, mistakenly calls him Mr. Evil, and tells him that it's policy to not negotiate with terrorists, and now they laugh hysterically and give up. So next scene at the Kensington house, and Mrs. Kensington talking to her daughter, and she's impressed she's resisted Austin Powers' charm. And Vanessa insists her mom to talk to him, but she says no. So now at VirtueCon worldwide headquarters to see a limo stopping and see Austin and Vanessa seeing Random Task walking out with Dr. Evil's cat. And now he starts taking pictures of her and to enjoy being driven around Las Vegas for the night on the town. And here's Burt Bacharach singing and start dancing. It's not what you see it is, and also this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, go on, Austin, get on with it.
I'm gonna do it. Do you want me to do it?
Oh, go on.
Do you want me to do it?
And she's drunk as hell and heads to the bed here, and this is Austin's signal to shag, but doesn't want to since she tries to kiss him and she falls asleep drunk. Now the laptop is ringing as Austin now opens it up, and it's Basil Exposition again telling Austin to find out about Project Vulcan and to find more about it at A Lot of Vagina's penthouse for more details. And he sneaks in and takes pictures of the files and sees Project Vulcan, and here comes A Lot of Vagina, played by Fabiana Eugenio. And Austin Powers knows number 2 is up to something and he's gonna get lucky this time as she makes him follow here to this you only live twice like setting or room. And she will watch him as she will look in his jacket and sees his spy badge.
In Japan, men come first and women come second.
Or sometimes not at all.
What did I tell you? You only live twice, 1967. And he drinks what she gave him and farts in the water, and now rolling on to the next scene with Dr. Evil still wanting a way to get rid of Austin Powers as Frau Farbacina introduces the fembots to keep Austin Powers in a shagging mood forever, and he uses it on these guards first with guns. So now at the British mateship headquarters with Vanessa acting like Q here, showing him fancy gadgets. And since he's still used to the 1960s, none of his gadget guesses are true. And here comes Basil Exposition to tell Austin that the warhead was stolen from Kreplakistan, which is a parody of some country, by Dr. Evil. I mean, yeah, we knew that. And Austin shows him the file he retrieved from A Lot of Vaginas, and Vanessa looks a little jelly here. And to infiltrate VirtueCon, Austin and Vanessa will be disguised as tourists. And Basil now introduces his mother, Mrs. Exposition.
God, man, what have you done?
That's not your mother, it's a...
And he goofs up here very well. And continues to insult Basil's mother, and rolling on to the next scene. We are at a high school for group therapy, and the next one, for the therapy sessions, of course, Scott and his dad, Dr. Evil. And with Scott telling the group he met Dr. Evil 5 days ago, and wants nothing to do with evil, but Dr. Evil wants Scott to be evil all the time. And now it's Dr. Evil's turn to tell his life story, and it's a long one, which I will skip. It's all about therapy, you can watch it on your own. So back at the hotel with Vanessa, who was jealous at HQ with Austin. When Austin Powers mentioned he swiped the file at a lot of Vagina's house.
You know I meant, did you use a condom?
Only sailors use condoms, baby.
Not in the...
Yeah, condoms have always been a thing, but not for Austin Powers since he's supremely immune to STDs and other sex-related diseases. And she goes to bed and welcomes Austin Powers to the 1990s for like the millionth time now. So he goes night driving, and even here he stops at this club and throws a peace sign where the 90s adults think it's funny. And remembers the people he knew from the 60s are dead, crossing their names out from this pad. It even puts a CD onto the record player, and yeah, you're not supposed to do that since you're in the 90s. Record players are outdated by now. And plays with this Jordan and watches TV. So yeah, next scene we are at a VirtueCon HQ tour, and of course the plan is in effect now with Austin and Vanessa undercover with more jealous questions about a lot of vagina. And the two see the scientists go into the bathrooms with Austin and Vanessa grabbing their clothes to pose as VirtueCon scientists, and the tour guide alerts the security. And two were about to be flattened to death here, and he judo chops a steamroller driver, and it is just so dumb.
Watch out!
So the two have made it inside and are now hit on the head by a random task, and the two have made it inside Dr. Evil's indoor factory unit, and shows off the VirtueCon driller. So funny to see Mike Myers talking to himself here, and has the I mean, there's also Van Damme from Double Impact, don't get me wrong, and now Austin Powers has the UN alerted on screen too to use a drill, and drills all the way, and wants to drill all the way into the Earth's core from Nevada, and to trigger all the volcanoes to blow everything up. Therefore, Earth is no more. And the UN secretary agrees to pay the $100 billion, and Dr. Evil tries to log out, but plays Beavis and Butthead instead, a show I've never seen. So having Austin and Vanessa in silver clothing now, and here comes out Scott as he announced what he'll do today, and Dr. Evil was about to kill Scott, and Frau stopped him.
Expect them to pay. No, Mr. Powers. I expect them to die.
Yup, just like Goldfinger. And now a live and let die like scene here with the sharks, or maybe it's The Spy Who Loved Me with the sharks. And number 2 here tells Evil that the sharks aren't good enough right now, so number 2 suggests sea bass for now. And Scott all excited to get the gun from his room to kill Austin and Vanessa, but Dr. Evil prefers to kill these two himself. So the two have to escape, and Austin wanting to crap right now, and Vanessa hands him the floss and the toothpaste and escape, and have made it inside Dr. Evil's factory. And before that, Austin apologized to Vanessa for shagging a lot of vagina, and Austin Powers reversing his way out of this place, and Dr. Evil wanting to show his long lost son what he does exactly. And Evil is all suited up for the drill, and Austin Powers distracted by the fembots, and his fembot sprays sleeping gas from a robot tits. And Vanessa dressed like Mrs. Kensington, getting the troops ready now for invasion. And Austin Powers are breaking free from the fembots, taking off his suit and start dancing by playing with their heads.
Smashing, baby.
Onward, boys!
He looked excited. So Evil has got the drill ready and breaks in Austin Powers and Vanessa Kensington with the British soldiers, and Evil goes back into hiding as Austin quickly presses the abort button and stops drilling, and the UN is happy. And back with Mike Myers speaking himself, and here is a lot of vagina with Vanessa at gunpoint, and Scott comes back out, but he runs away. And here comes number 2 again, telling Dr. Evil that he doesn't want to do this plan, and offers Austin Powers a proposition, and Evil kills number 2. And with Dr. Evil going back to being frozen again with this place about to blow up, the two have made it into the squad car and getting his balls crushed and drive off, and the facility blows up. And 3 months go by with Austin Powers has married Vanessa Kensington, so she's Vanessa Powers now. And he's all happy now he's shagging her, and his phone is ringing since Basil Exposition again. And Dr. Evil is gone for good, and Austin will be knighted and Vanessa promoted to a full agent. And here comes room service and some random tasks, throwing his shoe like Oddjob would, and Austin Powers, and he's being choked against the wall by him. So Vanessa hands Austin the pump and uses it on random task, and gets hit with the wine bottle and pushes him out. And the two go see an asteroid as Dr. Evil in the big boy disguised cryogenic pod. So that's the first movie of Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery from 1997. credits for the next 5 minutes. And I'll see you next time in Jingle All the Way from 1996. Take care, see you soon and watch away. Happy holidays, and I'll see you next time in the next episode.